Welcome back, everyone. I know in the last video you saw us feeding the sheep in the winter. Well, this is the same day. We walked in the hayfield, and the ground was definitely hard and frozen enough that we're going to go ahead and spread manure now rather than wait a couple of days. And there's a few reasons. One, we don't like to leave manure piled up in the barn because we don't have a separate facility to store it. And if we leave it in the barn, like you're going to see right here, it continues that breakdown process, and it puts a lot of ammonia and other unpleasantries into the air. And we want to stop that. If we had a separate place to store it, then we wouldn't really care. But since we don't, it's really best that we actually get it out of there and don't contaminate their living area. So it's best that we don't store it in here for a few reasons. One, the lambs are in there, they're gonna climb on it, then like any other kid or baby, they're gonna put things in their mouth that they shouldn't. So to mitigate that, we just do our best to keep the bedding clean in there and not keep any manure piled up in there. Now the only reason we actually even piled any up in there was because the manure spreader that you see behind me, our new one, we had some repairs to do to it pretty well right off the bat. That made it to where we couldn't use it right away, and unfortunately the timing of the storm and everything else just ended up pushing everything back to where it's at now. The manure spreader is not the only thing we're testing out today. We're actually testing out our new auto steer setup as well. The only thing that's really changed here is just the monitor, like you saw in the video when we upgraded. So we'll get more into that and this manure spreader after I load it. We're on the way to the field. I put a little bit more in that first load than I really wanted to because, again, it's the first load for the manure spreader with us. It's also a headache of, not a headache I get, but the complications of getting this dialed in and making sure we have everything right. But we'll deal with it. Hopefully, God willing, it'll be all right. The first thing I need to do is to actually see how wide my spread pattern really is. Now, the guy I bought it from said that it spread about 20 feet for his manure. But again, that's subjective because where I think the end may not be the same as where you think. You may think that, hey, it's got a couple of sprinkles out here, you know, at 20 feet, I'm going to count it. Whereas I might say, no, if it's not consistent at, 20 feet, I'm going to count at 17 where it is consistent. All right, auto steer is on. Appears to be working. PTO is spinning. Oh, that wasn't smart. We skipped a step. I gotta open that gate. We're gonna get out and look at this in just a second, but this row that we just did, that one is in first gear at PTO speed. The one we're doing now is actually going to be in second gear at PTO speed, and we're just gonna compare what we're looking like as far as the coverage, if it's too thick or too thin, and we'll make our adjustments from there. We can control it with the gate, we can control it by speed, we can do a lot of things to change what we've got going. On a brighter note, auto steer seems to be killing it. It's actually working really well. This was kind of another benefit of doing it while we have all this ice. I mean, you could see how much ice we got. Like everything is covered, and actually the grass has got the least of it on it, surprisingly. So when we look at this, that's actually a pretty good coverage. That's not bad. I can live with that, but it seems like it's kind of a streak. Let's look at the other one. And it might just seem like it's a streak because of the simple fact that obviously the tires have everything smashed down. Yeah, see here it looks a lot more. Yeah, no, it still looks like that. Actually, I think it's because, we'll check. We might have been running out, is what we might have been doing. Now, some of our problem as far as controlling it, you could see those spots where it's like thick and thin, and they're right after each other. It could be from a few things. More than likely, it's because we're almost out, and that's what I'm about to go check in the manure spreader. I can't see into this one like I could the other one, so I'll have to kind of get used to that and work with it from there. But it does seem like it's only doing a certain, like 2 lines. It doesn't seem like it's beating it and spreading it like it should. But let's take a look and see what we got. Yeah, we're definitely not low. Oh, no, actually I take that back. We're not low, but this does a really good job of keeping this fed. That's pretty cool. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna close this. We're gonna go back, get more. We'll fill the whole thing up. Now, these augers, the bottom 2 obviously push to the back. This top one, though, it actually goes the opposite direction, and it pushes everything back towards the front. This makes it to where everything don't pile up at the back, and makes it to where it's going to have an easier feed and a smoother spread. But you can see that even with the gate all the way up, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it, but you can see this auger actually goes down to the bottom, a little below the bottom of the gate opening. Actually, I'm wrong. It's pretty well right at the gate opening. The camera's not going to show it well because it's going to try to focus on the stuff right in front of it. But yeah, it's right where it needs to be. But we're definitely running a little low. So what we're going to do, like I said, we're going to go fill this up and we'll come back. I'm also going to put the camera back here, and I'm going to grab a manure spreader. Or sorry, a manure spreader. I have a manure spreader on. I'm going to grab the drone and we're going to throw it up too. That way we can kind of see what it looks like and what's going on back here. Now, as far as manure spreader path, I measured. I'm going to go with 10 foot, just because that's where I know that I'm getting good coverage. Now, am I going to overlap some? I definitely am. Is the overlap enough that's going to cause some problems? I don't think so. Now, the next kind of conundrum I have is I need to figure out how much I'm actually spreading per acre, how many tons I'm spreading per acre. My goodness, George, what are you doing, man? We are not going your speed all the way home, man. Now, the next conundrum I need to figure out is how many tons I'm spreading an acre with this one. Pretty simple. I just got to do some measurements, and I won't be able to get those until I do a full load, which we're going to do right here. Yeah, everything went really well today. Kind of hard to complain. Pretty impressed with the new one. I think the spread pattern's better than what it's showing on the cameras, because when you get out and look with the naked eye, you can see that there's a lot that actually is between them, even though it looks like it's only in one, like in 2 rows. So I'll see what I can do to figure out a way to show it a little better. It doesn't pick up very well. I think it's because the contrast to how bright the ice and the little dusting of snow that's on it is versus how dark the manure that we're spreading is. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And remember, if you're going to talk about somebody, talk to God about them. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed week. See you next time.